Hi everyone, this is Hareesha from H&B Premier Tax and Accounting LLC. Today is May 27, 2020. I want to give you a new update about Paycheck Protection Program loan forgiveness. Now, many of you have applied for Paycheck Protection Program, and then I'm sure most of you have gotten funding. Now, this is the time that you have to use that money to retain your employees and then run your business, and at the same time think about loan forgiveness. So if you follow the channel and if you follow the previous videos that we did, you're very well aware that a Paycheck Protection Program comes to you as a loan originally, and then it's subject to forgiveness. So the forgiveness is not automatic. You have to go and apply for the forgiveness. On May 16th, SBA released an updated version of Paycheck Protection Program loan forgiveness calculation. So that's what I'm going to talk about today. So what you need to have done to get your loan forgiven. So in this application, so they came up with a few different schedules and then some guidance how to calculate the forgiveness. So let's take a look at it and then see what kind of documentation that you need to have. And then also you want to get in touch with your accountant, attorney, or if you have any other advisor that helping you with this kind of stuff. Because let me tell you something. Now, this is something that you need to get like professional help and professional advice. Because if you make any mistakes in the loan forgiveness calculation, that could reduce the forgivable loan amount. So you got to be careful. You have to pay attention, and then also there are some planning involved along with this. Also know that the loan forgiveness is not automatic. You have to apply for it, and then also there are certain timeline that you have to apply. After 8 weeks, of that you getting the loan, make sure that you pay attention to that, because you don't want to be the one that you forget to apply for the loan forgiveness, that now the time period expired, that you will have to pay the full amount back. So let's get to the application. So this is a little complicated, but I'm going to cover the basics. So when you go and talk to someone, and then if you have to if you decide to do it even by yourself, so how this application works, you have some idea. Let's go to the place where you get this application. You go to sba.gov, and then you click on the Paycheck Protection Programs, and then under Paycheck Protection Program you can download this application, Paycheck Protection Program loan forgiveness application. So they have two versions. One is updated May 15th. The second one is updated May 16th. You want to get the one that updated May 16th. Now this application comes with pretty good instruction. It is somewhat detailed, but nowhere to the nowhere enough to the level that you could totally complete everything just depending on this instruction, but it gives you some idea. Okay, so this application has a few different forms. One is you have the PP loan forgiveness calculation. That's the form 1, and then form 2, PPP Schedule A, and then form 3 is PP Schedule A worksheet. It's another worksheet that you could get the numbers for the Schedule A, and then also there's optional form that you could fill out, PP borrowers demographic information. Now all borrowers have to complete the form 1 and 2. That's loan forgiveness calculation, and then also the Schedule A. Now let's take a look at loan forgiveness calculation. Here's the actual loan forgiveness application. So basically some of this stuff pretty basics. You have to put your business legal name, and then your if you have a DBA, business address, tax ID, all that stuff. That's pretty basic. And also you want to include SBA loan number. SBA has allocated a loan number for each and every loan, and then also you want to enter the loan number that's allocated by your lender. So maybe like if you got the loan from Chase, the number that Chase allocated to you, Bank of America, or any regional local bank. Now, and then also you have to put the PPA loan amount, how much you got, and then the date that you disperse the loan. Okay, and then this date that you got the loan is very important. because that is the date that your 8-week period starts from. And then you have to put the employee at the time of loan application. These numbers are very important. Now you have to put the employees at the time of loan forgiveness application, because like let's say you had 10 employees at the time of the application, and then by the time of the loan forgiveness request, your number of employees had gone down to 5, 6 or any number below 10. Then your loan amount forgiven will be prorated by the reduction of the number of full-time or full-time equivalent employees. So so you have to pay very good attention to those numbers, and then make sure you get them accurate. Also, if you have received EIDL advance loan amount, so then you have to enter this. So what is the EIDL advance loan amount? If you recall, I did a video prior that explain SBA gave a lot of businesses an advance from economic injury disaster loan. So if you got that EIDL advance, most businesses got like $1,000 per employee. A business that had 10 employees would have gotten $10,000. That's the maximum. If a business had 7 employees, they would have gotten $7,000. So you have to list that amount, and then you have to list the EIDL application number. So now you have to fill out your payroll frequency, whether you are paying the payrolls weekly, bi-weekly, twice a month, monthly, etc. Now, covered period. So this is very important. What is the covered period? So in the instructions, they explain the covered period. Covered period is the 8-week period. That's 56 days. The first day of the covered period must be the same as the loan disbursement date. If you got your loan on April 15, so you have to count 56 days from April 15. In the instruction itself, they give an example. If a borrower got their loan on Monday, April 20th, that's the first day that they got the loan. So that's the first day of the covered period. If they got the loan on April 25th, that's the first day of the covered period. Okay, now for these purposes, let's say somebody got the loan on April 20th. So you have to count 8 weeks from April 20th. So in that case, the covered period end date would be June 20th. So then they're talking about alternative payroll covered period. So now, why do you want to know about an alternative payroll covered period? Let's say you run your business, but you don't run your payrolls every single day. You have a payroll schedule, right? So maybe you're running a payroll weekly or bi-weekly. Let's say you got your loan on April 20th, but the next payroll started on April 26th. So in that case, you could consider, when you're calculating your payroll cost, alternative payroll covered period. So that then in that case, that alternative payroll covered period starts on April 26th, the next most recent date that you ran the payroll since you got the loan. If you selected alternative payroll covered period, then your covered period would end also June 26th instead of June 20th. You got to pay attention to that. Now the next, if you got more than $2 million from PPP funding, then you have to click this button. But the big client companies, they should have dedicated people handling this kind of stuff, not watching YouTube videos, right? Okay, so payroll, then you have to list payroll and non-payroll cost. On line 1, you list the payroll cost. So where do you get this payroll cost? That's where you have to fill out Schedule A. So once you fill out the Schedule A, from the line 10 of the Schedule A, you get that number and then put that number here. And then you have to enter your business mortgage interest payments. Remember, this is only the interest payments, not the entire loan payment. You cannot include the principal payment here. And then business rent or lease payments, and then utility payments. So they talk about what is covered under the utility payments in the instructions itself. So the utility payments include general utilities such as electricity, telephone, internet, and also they have included transportation here as a utility payment. All these costs, payroll and non-payroll costs, they should be incurred and paid. So that's very important. So the payroll costs, they should have been incurred and paid during the covered period. So now, when do they consider the payroll is paid? On the date that you write a paycheck or you generate an ACH transaction from your bank account. And also, if your covered period end date falls on a date that prior to your payroll date, so then the payroll cost is considered paid if you pay that salary in the next pay period. So for example, like say your covered period end on June 20th, but your next payroll date is, last payroll date is June 26th. So then payrolls, your employees earn till June 20th is considered as cost incurred as long as you pay the payroll on June 26th. The same thing with eligible non-payroll costs. They should be incurred and paid. The prepayments do not count. So if you prepay your rent, that doesn't count. Also, another important consideration that you have to make in the calculations, the non-payroll cost cannot exceed more than 25% of the loan amount. So the 75% of the loan amount has to go towards the payroll cost. Then on the Schedule A, you have to calculate the total salary or hourly wage reduction. So if during this period, covered period, if your employees' wages were reduced, so that's the factor that affecting your loan forgiveness. So you have to go to Schedule A, fill that out, and then bring that number here. Now you take your total payroll cost and other cost, and then deduct the salary reduction from all of that, and then you get this line 6. And then you have to calculate reduction of full-time equivalent employees. If you had 10 employees before you got the loan, now you have only 5 employees, so that's a 50% reduction, right? So then you have to calculate that from Schedule A and then bring that number here. So your eligible loan forgiveness amount will be reduced by that number. So now once you fill all these boxes out, so you get your total here, you get your total payroll cost, non-payroll cost, and then you reduce that by the salary reduction, and then multiply by the reduction in your full-time employees, and that answer goes here. So then you get the Paycheck Protection loan amount. That answer goes on the box 9, line 9, and then you get the 75% of payroll cost, and then you impute it based on that, and then you get the answer in this box. So box 8, 9 and 10, you get the smallest number from those 3 boxes, so that will be your loan forgiveness amount that goes in box 11. Alright, so let's take a look at Schedule A. Before I go to Schedule A, so next, they have you recertify most of the things that you had to attest when you obtain the loans. Basically saying that you use this Paycheck Protection Program funding to pay for the payroll cost, allowable, and also the other allowable expenses. You did not use these funds to pay anything else other than that. And then also you are certifying that you're not making any statement knowingly, any false statement knowingly, and it says like if you make a false statement, or if you act in a fraudulent manner, you could get in trouble, you could go to jail, or get fined. Then they have separate instructions for Schedule A. So let's go to Schedule A. Okay, here's the Schedule A. So Schedule A, basically you have to fill out the total cash compensation, goes in box 1, and then you enter the average full-time equivalent employees on line 2. Then on line 3 you enter the salary wage reduction. So they have table A worksheet, so you could fill out and then get the number to come in this box. I'm not going to go into that details in here, but if you're interested, I'll leave the link so you could download this form and then go through the Schedule A worksheet as well. Alright, so the next Schedule A worksheet, table 2. So this one also calculate the total payroll cost. So you enter the cash compensation, and then number of full-time equivalent employees that you get from the Schedule A worksheet, and then you could list your health insurance payments here, retirement plan payments, and then local taxes assessed on employee compensation. That's the state and local payroll taxes. And then you have to list compensation paid to own employees, self-employed, individual general partners, separately on a separate schedule with their names. So now you add up all of those things, you will get the total payroll cost, which goes to the main form. So the next table covers the full-time equivalence and employee reduction. So those are the two forms that you need to submit, Schedule A and then loan forgiveness application. Let's talk about the documents that borrowers has to give to SBA to get the loan forgiveness. Now when it's come to payroll, you have to give all the payroll documents, like third-party payroll reports, cancel checks that you pay to employees, or your bank statements, and then also payroll tax forms that were filed during the covered period, or other records similar to that, because if you did not file a payroll tax returns for that period, so then you could get the third-party payroll providers documentation, and then payment receipts, cancel checks, or account statements showing contributions to retirement accounts, and then payments to health insurance plans, and then also payments to state and local taxes. So these documentations that you have to keep in order, and then also you have to provide that documentation to the bank and the SBA when you apply for the forgiveness. Also, you have to keep the documentation showing full-time equivalent employees, how many employees you had. So that one, you have to keep the average number of employees that you had between February 15th and June 30th. And then also average number of employees that you had between January 1st till end of February 29. And then if you're a seasonal employer, that periods differ a little bit. And then for non-payroll costs, if you paid mortgage interest and then you're claiming a forgiveness on mortgage interest payments, you have to show the loan amortization schedules, the mortgage documents, cancel checks, all of that. And then also for lease payments, rent payments, you have to show a lease that existed, before February 15th. And the same thing, for utility payments, so you have to show that these utility services were there before February 15th, and also the cancel checks, bills, and then other documentations, supporting the payment after you got the loan or during the covered period. And there are other documentations that they talk about that you should keep, but you don't have necessarily submit to your bank or SBA to get the loan forgiveness. And in that, they discuss your eligibility for the loan, why you decided to apply for the loan, were you really, your business were really hurt during this period. So a pro tip for that is, like, if you run any kind of business and then you had a reduction of revenue, the customers that you got paid and regularly, and they did not pay it, or they wanted discounts, document all those things. So that will help you in a situation where they want to come and audit the documents, audit the loans, and all of that. And then any of these documents you have to keep for 6 years, even after you getting the loan forgiveness. Like always, record keeping documentation is very, very important. All right, so that's basically how the loan forgiveness work. Again, a pro tips: it's not automatic. You have to apply, get in touch with your bank, and then most banks are sending their own instructions on how to prepare to apply for forgiveness. I saw a couple of big banks send their own notices. Chase sent one, and then they're updating their websites regularly. And record keeping is the key, so keep good records. And then also all the time, this is the time that you want to get help from your accountants, advisors, lawyers, whoever help you in these kind of situations. If you have questions, please do give us a call. I hope everyone is staying safe, and then I hope you have already opened up your business again, or you're getting ready to start your open up your business again. Stay safe. Good luck. Thanks for watching.